Hello everyone, welcome back to Game Domain News. I'm Super Mech Guy, and today we're going to be looking at interesting Nintendo related stories. The stories that will be presented today will be Nintendo's Bezel Engine, Wolfenstein 2, and the horror game The Bunker, releasing on the Nintendo Switch. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone to make sure to follow us on Twitter at TheRealGameDomain to stay up to date with all of our newest projects. First off, let's talk about the NintendoWare Bezel Engine, Nintendo's newest video game engine for developers. At the Game Developers Conference 2018, or aka GDC 2018, Nintendo showcased their new Bezel engine to some select developers. Now, this was at a closed-door session at GDC. Nintendo was sharing the new engine tech with a select group of developers, showing them how the engine made it possible to create games in a short period of time while keeping development costs as low as possible. So far, we don't have any actual footage of the engine being used for a game, so perhaps we'll be getting footage of Bezel engine games in a Nintendo Direct or E3 later this year. This is great news for indie developers because tight budgets are usually present with small dev teams and they can't afford to use the bigger engines. One popular video game engine that comes to mind when talking about indie games is the highly popular Unity engine that's used virtually on every single platform. The Switch games Snipperclips and Super Bomberman are prime examples of great looking games running on Unity engine for the Nintendo Switch. Also, I'd like to point out that the Nintendo Switch fully supports the option for developers to use the Unity engine. I think they've increased the support that they have for the Unity engine. I think the Wii U supported it also, but with the Nintendo Switch they added even more support so games can run more flawlessly on the Nintendo Switch without having to make that much of a big difference in the code, I'm guessing. Maybe Nintendo will make the Bezel engine similar to the Unity engine that's been really popular with the indie community, but maybe they'll make it even more affordable to developers looking to launch their game exclusively on Nintendo Switch. If Nintendo seeks to make the Bezel engine the prime choice for developers for Nintendo Switch games, I think one thing they have to do is either match or exceed the Unity engine, and two, they have to even make it more affordable to developers to use their engine than the Unity engine if they want to steal market share from the Unity guys, but that's just my 2 cents. Bezel engine, I want to see how it looks like in a video game first. Maybe it'll be just a 2D engine, who knows, but I doubt it'll just be a 2D engine. It's probably going to be a full-blown 3D engine. Anyways, we have to wait for Nintendo to show us more Bezel engine footage, so yeah, I guess all we can do is wait and see. Moving on to Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus is arriving on Nintendo Switch soon, and developer Bethesda decided to showcase New Colossus at PAX running in real time. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus is an action-adventure first-person shooter game developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda Softworks that was released in 2017. It was released on Xbox One and PS4, but now it's finally making its way over to the Nintendo Switch. We have direct feed footage of New Colossus running on Nintendo Switch hardware, and I have to say it looks pretty darn good considering all things. From the looks of things, New Colossus looks visually fine, but the frame rate could be a little more stable. It dips here and there, but I'm sure Bethesda still has time to polish some things up before the actual release. Well, I shouldn't really be saying Bethesda, should we? And I'll go into that topic later on. But let me talk about the Switch version. It's not visually impressive as its PS4 counterpart. Of course, the PS4 is more sharper because of a higher resolution, but the Switch version comes very close to achieving the same results, and keep in mind that the footage we saw isn't finalized and there's still room for improvement. Now, the team responsible for porting over Wolfenstein 2 to Switch is Panic Button. This isn't the first time they've ported over a game to the Nintendo Switch, since these are the same devs who brought us Rocket League and the visually impressive Doom to the Nintendo Switch. And Doom is one of the most graphically intensive titles right now on the Nintendo Switch, and it's running on Nintendo Switch, which is crazy, you know? As a longtime Nintendo fan, this port seems amazing and just shows how awesome the Switch can be. Compared to the days of the crappy Call of Duty ports for the Wii, we've come a very, very long way. Hopefully Panic Button manages to stabilize the frame rate even more before the final release date comes upon us. Looks good to me, the Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus version for the Nintendo Switch. And it'll probably be even better looking, and it'll probably run better than the Doom port that we got, due to the fact that Panic Button has gotten a lot of experience with the Rocket League port and the Doom port, so expect this to be one of the better running ports for a Nintendo Switch. Can't wait to see it on Nintendo Switch. Hopefully Panic Button does a good job. The next game I'm going to cover is drastically different from what you're usually used to from the modern day video game era. That's why I'm bringing it to you guys, because it's kind of quirky and I think you guys would enjoy something like this. The full motion video, or FMV, adventure horror video game known as The Bunker, made by indie developer Splendid Games, has launched on Nintendo eShop. The story of the game revolves around our protagonist John, who grew up in a fallout shelter in Britain after a nuclear war had erupted. Players will have to guide John through forgotten areas of the bunker in order to uncover dark forgotten secrets and to unlock John's repressed memories. Now, The Bunker is an interesting video game style that hasn't really been done a lot before in the mainstream gaming scene. The only other video game that I can remember that had this FMV style of production was the cult classic Night Trap for the Sega CD, which was released way back in 1992. Who knows, maybe The Bunker will achieve a cult classic status in the near future as well due to its unique style. You can download The Bunker today on Nintendo eShop for $12.49 if you're interested. Personally, I think it's interesting seeing The Bunker come out with this type of style. If this was just a normal horror video game, I think a lot less people would pay attention to it, but since it's such a unique style that hasn't really been done a lot now, especially today in the modern day, where video games are just big budget Unreal Engine 5, CryEngine, just realistic masterpieces these days. It's nice to see a little bit of a uniqueness in the industry, right, once in a while. So yeah, The Bunker, keep an eye out on it. So yeah, The Bunker, if you guys want to buy it. If you want to watch more videos, just Google The Bunker for Nintendo Switch and you can watch The Bunker. Anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and don't forget to subscribe here at Game Domain for more gaming content. Have a nice day.